being a writer, you became an editor, and you were first editor for the script. I think that was your first editing job. How was that, moving on to editor?
It was somewhat unexpected. George Kohlreiser, who was the president of the ITA at the time, asked me if I would edit the script, and I thought, yeah, okay. But then again, I had a similar agenda, because I wanted the script to become a forum where people could write from different points of view, and it wasn't just a little, rah-rah monthly newspaper anymore. I wanted it to have some substance. So, I really took it on with the same kind of project in mind of that there were ideas and a cross current of ideas and disagreements, and that it was an in-house publication that really encouraged dialogue and interchange.
Yeah, and then you moved on to being a THA editor.
Yeah, and that's a whole different process.
Very different, I think.
Being the editor of the script is a little bit like being a publicist, trying to get people to come forward and share their ideas and news and that kind of thing. And again, I became an editor of the TAJ kind of by accident, because I'd been a reviewer for quite a while. And again, with that Reed College critical thinking, my reviews were, I think, often quite different than a lot of the other reviews. I had been on the ITA Board of Trustees in various positions for quite a while, and I stunk at it. I was just terrible. It wasn't my spot, and I wanted to contribute. I wanted to contribute to TA, and I thought this is where I actually have a skill to offer.
In writing.
In writing and editing, and and in the literature. I was asked to do that. I didn't want to do it alone. From the beginning, I thought
you were never the sole editor.
No, we had to have a team. Partly because it's just too much work. It's an enormous amount of work. But also by then, I'd profited so much from being edited. Robin, who's been the editor of the TAJ for a long time now,
a masterful editor.
She is truly a master. And I've been edited by lots of different people at this point, but rarely anybody with the skill and the thoughtfulness of Robin. So, it was more through editing that I learned, how do you structure an article? How...
Through being an editor yourself.
First by being edited.
So interesting. So, first being edited. And
it made me a much better writer. Made me a more effective writer. So then, my experience in being edited informed my becoming an editor.
And so you've been editor of the TAJ for how long now?
15 years.
15 years. Wow. And you are moving on.
And I'm moving on.
How does that feel?
Weird.
You haven't dropped it yet. In a little while.
2 more months.
2 more months. Yeah, you have a lot of free time and
well, I'm
and you I guess missing some things, or
I'll miss I'll miss the camaraderie of the co-editors. We're a great team. I'm also at a point where it really felt right for me to step out so that other people, newer voices, younger voices, could step in. It was the right time.
You talk about that sometimes, the aging therapist, and you're not, I wouldn't call you an aging editor, but it's
Not getting any younger.
well, I guess, yes, you're not getting younger, you're probably aging, unless you stopped time somehow. So you are now becoming the editor of a book series at Routledge.
Mm-hmm.
Would you tell us about that? What's that series going to be like?
Okay. Let me tell you one other thing
Let's
first
back up
that
a
I
bit.
think,
Okay.
which also has to do with being edited.
Mm-hmm.
And this is more in the context of books than journal articles,
Mm-hmm.
because I've also been, edited for the books I've done. One, which is sort of the classic example, was the book I wrote for Part.2,
Mm-hmm.
which I never would have written if I hadn't been approached by the editor, Gail,
Yes.
and she talked me into it in a certain way, and she, that's probably the writing that is in my most personal voice.
So Gail Fontaine,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, and without Gail, that book wouldn't have happened, and that book represented a real transition.
That's wonderful. And
yeah.
she really was invested in it as well. Both of you really worked hard on that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and I've had that experience. The book that I wrote on somatic experience, Lou Aaron was my editor,
Mm-hmm.
and he was very involved in the editing of the book, the fashioning of the book, the sequence of the chapters, and again pushing me. It's part of what I struggle with as a writer is leaving more of the academic voice that I had learned and writing in both a more clinical voice but a more personal voice.
Yes, I was thinking about that balance between academic, which you don't want to lose all of that.
Right.
Because it is valuable.
Yeah.